We're at the site of an Israeli airstrike that took place at 1 a.m. on Monday. This apartment on the fifth floor was hit. According to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, 3 of their members were killed in that strike, in addition to 1 other person, as reported by the Ministry of Health. Now, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine is a Palestinian faction that has a presence here in Lebanon, but has not been active for several years. It's not clear if Israel is now taking the opportunity to target not just Hezbollah and others who've been firing into Israel, but all of the factions that are opposed to Israel. Now, many of the people who left the southern suburbs moved to areas like this because they thought it might be safer. Clearly, that's not the case.
Well, if Israel does send ground troops into Lebanon, it wouldn't be the first time. In 2006, Israel invaded Lebanon, hoping it could suppress attacks by Hezbollah in a way that it found impossible using air power alone. An eerily similar situation to today. In the brutal course of a 34-day war, more than 1,000 Lebanese were killed in 2006. Well, Ehud Olmert was Israel's prime minister at the time of the 2006 invasion, and he joins us now. And I do want to spend a bit of time with you reflecting on what happened back in 2006 and the lessons learned. But Israel today has set returning the residents of the north back to their homes as a goal of this war. Do you believe that the action today, the assassination of the Hezbollah chief and many of his commanders, and the potential for a full-on war on Hezbollah using ground troops, if that is the decision, is the right move to restore security, sir?
They started the war on the 8th of October without any provocation. They made it clear from the outset that they have nothing against us. They just want to help the Hamas. And they were shooting rockets, maybe sometimes 300 a day for a long time, and they forced out more than 80,000 of Israeli residents in the north away from their homes. So it was inevitable. We had to respond, we have to reach out, we have to try and change the balance. But if you ask me whether this is a game changer in the sense that it can resolve comprehensively all the problems and create an entirely new situation in Lebanon, I don't think so. I wish, by the way, perhaps against your judgment before, that the outcome of this war will be similar to the one that was in 2006. We had for 17 years, there was not one bullet shot from across the border from Lebanon to the state of Israel. What a great outcome it may have been if we had a similar situation right now. I quite frankly don't think that the ground operation is a solution to the problem. I think that make use of the weakening of Hezbollah now and a certain disarray which took place as a result of the targeting of Nasrallah and the others. And perhaps this is the time where a concerted effort by the Lebanese government, by the State of Israel, by America and by France to build up the military power of the Lebanese army to squeeze inside Lebanon the Hezbollah and to try to deprive them of their positions and military capacities within Lebanon is what we should do.
With respect, that is, you know how weakened that Lebanese army is. So long term, that might be an option. That isn't an option. There is no way that Lebanese army can be bolstered with sufficient capability anytime soon. Look, Netanyahu's critics, both here and abroad, say that this is him trying to prolong a forever war. And I know that you've been an arch critic to keep his far-right coalition on board, but many others are supporting his decision to go after Hassan Nasrallah and his commanders and to keep up that momentum. You don't agree that that is where he should go from here on in. What's the alternative at this point? I mean, a ceasefire proposal tabled by the US and France has gone nowhere at this point. A diplomatic solution doesn't seem to be in the toolbox for the Israeli Prime Minister at this point.
There is no solution. stop the war in the north or in the south, which will be acceptable to the Prime Minister of Israel. So I'd be in a very comfortable position when you ask me, what do you think of the Prime Minister of Israel? But I don't want to spell it out now because this is not what I want to say. What I want to say is that we have to stop the war in the south. And I think we have reached the objective that we set out that we could achieve in the south. And there is nothing more that is worth the cost of fighting in the south, but particularly the danger to the lives of the hostages which are still alive and which we may have brought them back in part of an agreement to cease fire in the south and pull out. What we need to do in the north, we need to create a certain platform. Together with France and with the United States and the United Nations and an international force, and a robust international force, different from the one that staying now in the south of Lebanon, and in coordination with the Lebanese government, that will and to resolve all the outstanding issues between us and the Lebanese about the borderline and the Sheba farms, which are minor issues that can be resolved, I think, and to establish a certain process that will allow the Hezbollah to move, the weakened Hezbollah, in order to move them out away across from the Litani River in the north. This will not resolve all the issue, but it will open up for an opportunity to build up the necessary political powers and the military powers within Lebanon, which may change the balance. But in the meantime, it will allow Israel to bring back the citizens of the north into where they live. I think that this is something that can be done. Do you ask me whether Netanyahu agrees to it? Do you think that, or do you wonder whether Netanyahu will be ready to conclude the military operations in the south and the military operations in the north and sit down and start to think? That is, I think, beyond him. I don't think he wants it. I don't think he's capable of it. I don't think that he is ready yet to face all the other challenges which awaits him.
Well, nearly a year on from October the 7th, Benjamin Netanyahu has staged a remarkable turnaround. Though Likud, his party, would still struggle to form an election or a government where elections held today. This campaign in recent weeks has buoyed the Prime Minister to heights pretty unimaginable in the aftermath of the Hamas attack, and in what is perceived as a largely political move. Netanyahu brought in a former rival, Gideon Saar, into his government as a minister without portfolio. Just have a listen to what he said, sir.
Now, it's no secret that there were differences between us in the past, but since October 7, we both put behind us all that has happened. That's what happened when Gideon Saar joined the government in October, and that's how it is going to be when Gideon is returning to the government and the security cabinet today. We will work together, shoulder to shoulder, and I intend to use his help in the forums that influence the conduct of the war.
What do you make of that decision?
Now you want to ask me what I think about it? It sounds ridiculous. Is it? And by the way, I suggest that you'll not be carried away with what appears to be 2 weeks of success that would have changed entirely the political balance in Israel. The polls which were taken yesterday, after the operation in the weekend, after the speech of Netanyahu in the United Nations, showed the same balance between the two blocs. 72 members of the Knesset, which is a huge majority, against the government and against Netanyahu. So I think that for the time being, Netanyahu holds on. Now, inclusion of our coalition, he will have a more stable coalition for the time being in terms of numbers in the Knesset, not in terms of the attitude of the Israeli public opinion, not in terms of the attitude of the political different factions. They don't trust him. They don't believe in him. They don't think that he is focused on what is important for the state of Israel. We are in the middle of a big crisis, a crisis where Israel is, on the one hand, in a war which we completely, all of us, support the basic objectives of from the beginning, considering how it started and what happened to us and how the brutal Hamas murderers butchered and killed and raped and beheaded Israelis, something which is unforgivable and unforgettable, and it necessitated the Israeli reaction. On the other hand, we have a government which we don't trust, a government which we don't believe in, and a prime minister which is in the middle of a war in the state of Israel, doesn't have the support of the majority of the people.